Good morning from a sunny Djuma private game reserve in sunny South Africa. Alex is on camera with me. I'm Brent and Scott and Brian on the other vehicle, and Andrew is in FC this morning. I hope you guys have had a good day, or starting off with a good day this morning, depending where you are in the world. Alex and I are still looking for leopard tracks, so we're working a similar area to what Brian and I were working last night, trying to see if those female leopard tracks have come out. Scott's going to go check down on our eastern boundary. There was a report just before we closed down last night of the Djuma pride heading north towards our eastern boundary, west towards our eastern boundary. So Scott's going to go check that area. But hopefully we find something for you to look at. I'm sure there's always something to look at. But otherwise, just enjoy the drive, and we're very happy to have you here have you all here with us. There's a beautiful sunrise. Actually, let's just wait 1 second while that golden light comes through the marulas. Love being out at this time of the morning. So far, the only tracks we've seen have been a hyena, and they can walk incredible distances during the...
Start and end your day on safari.
Sign the dry season is well on its way. Although we could definitely do with some more rain, or the animals could do with some more rain. From a pure game viewing point of view, if we have a bad rainy season and we're going to have a long dry season, it makes the game viewing actually better, strangely enough, because the grass dies down quicker, it's easier to find animals, it's easier to track.
Start.
Here we've got some helmeted guinea fowl, and they've got some sub-adults with them. Quite interesting now, so during the height of the summer months, the guinea fowl will actually pair off into twos to lay eggs, and then as it starts becoming drier, they start forming into flocks again. And in the high-veld grassland regions of South Africa, you can get flocks of hundreds, 200-300 in a flock easily. And they're all feeding on the grass seeds that have started or finished climaxing already, so fall into the ground. Oh, there's a little one just popped out. I remember as a kid thinking they look a little bit like some prehistoric dinosaur with those heads and that big comb. What seeing birds gives you a good opportunity to do is just sit quietly. And you never know what you might hear. Alarm calling. Look at that funny face on that little one. So they would have been born in December, so about 3 months old now. They should start showing color in probably about a month and a half. You'll start seeing the blue coming through on their faces. Scott, did you copy which animal that was? On the Game Drive channel. Copy, thanks. So, guinea fowls and Franklin are very good at this. Running down the road in front of vehicles. Come on guys, there we go. Thank you. Oh! I don't know if you can see it there, Alex.
In hunting something. But now, because of the elephants, he's had to reroute, and therefore we will have to reroute as well. So apologies if I'm not giving you too much information at the moment. There's a lot going on with the Game Drive radio. There's a vehicle that's making their way here that I just needed help in, as well as the fact that this leopard's on the move through some quite thick vegetation, and we do need to do our best to follow him. Cedric, what's your position? It's just there. That's right. Okay, copy, that's perfect. There's a breeding herd in amongst him at the moment, so he's kind of slinking about quite a bit between them. So when you see the breeding herd, then you'll know he's in the area. So there's a lot of elephants around. I'm not sure if Brian's been able to show you as we've been driving. And the elephant can smell them and are therefore not too happy. And that's why they are trumpeting. Not at us, even though that's what you might think. You just relax, old lady. And there he goes there. Down the road to the left, got him there running off. Okay. Let's just try and keep up with him quickly because he is going to try and get away from those elephants. Well, how was that audio from the elephants? That was great. Now the magpie shrikes are alarm calling at him, and I'm just going to try and loop ahead of him quickly to get us a good view, and I can see a little gap. That's going to work for us. If Brian, you can just try and keep an eye on him there. Cedric, we're now just south of Drakensberg Central Road, and he's very close to Drakensberg, coming out on Drakensberg. So just head south on Drakensberg from Central. coming towards us.
Just there on the spectator.
Okay. Thank you. This will work, I think. Now, will be a great opportunity for those of our viewers who know the leopards well to try and identify him. I've never seen Mvula in this area, but he certainly will cover this area as part of his territory. And I think it could well be him. We got so lucky this morning again. And isn't this just a wonderful way to start the morning? I got your audio set, so you're pretty close now. Sorry, go again? Yeah, I don't want to get your audio. I'll keep coming, you'll see me from the road. Okay, so Drakensberg, I carry out Drakensberg. Affirmative, I'm switched off now. He's going to pop out on the road shortly. He's just to the south of me now, continuing in the easterly direction. What a great job that Brian's doing on the camera as he moves through this thick vegetation. And I love those shots when they are slinking through the thicker vegetation. And here he continues to scent mark. It's not easy to see, but you can see how he would have rubbed up into those bushes there. And that was a great shot. We got lucky that he decided to parade straight in front of the vehicle, as that always is not the case. Morning everyone. How are you doing?
Thanks, Ryan.
I'm excited. How are you, buddy? Yeah, very good. How's it fall? Sharp. Now, just to let you know, he is very close to our eastern boundary, so we may lose the ability to follow him fairly shortly. So enjoy these images that we are showing you, because they are not going to last forever, sadly, if he continues in the direction he is heading in. Just trying to get into a position where we've got one more shot of him kind of heading towards us. Not going to be easy though, because it's very thick here, so I think this is as good as it's going to get. Absolutely beautiful, this big male. The size of his head and that extra flap of skin dangling below his belly are traits that only large male leopards will have. shot you, Brian. Okay. Easy disappeared to Brian. Further up there. Try and make it round. I think he's going to pop on the skylight line.
Yeah, he's just
That's a tree squirrel you can hear calling at him. And I'm hoping he's going to come out towards the termite mound to our left. Here he comes. And this is going to be a great view. He should poke his head just up into the sun a little bit. Good morning, let's go. Well folks, we just gave Cedric a little opportunity there to show his guests a great view of Mvula, and there's a very thick area that he's heading through that we are just going to try and avoid, and we're going to loop around and wait for him to pop out, which he will do, I'm sure. So in a few moments we'll get another view of him. We'll just give Cedric a chance. It's only fair that the game drive vehicles really do help us so much and are so accommodating of us out here that we do need to return a favour as much as we can when possible. You all good there, Brian?
Yeah.
Cool.
If I can make my way from but yeah, we'll pretty much heading towards the cut line.
We're going to give it a quick link to Brent. He's got some great action, and we'll come back as soon as we find Mvula again. So we'll see you later.
Good morning, everyone. We've decided to come check the hyena den, and this is the most animals we've seen at the den. We've got at least 5 adults that we can see, plus the 3 cubs came out. There's actually a hyena is walked up, is so close to our bonnet we can't even see it at the moment. Which is quite interesting because it does give us a much better idea of the makeups of this clan, and they've fed well, and you can see there's some fat bellies around us. And as Scott was saying, what Scott was saying last night is that it's unlikely that the female that we've been seeing most regularly at the den feeding on the older, or the older cub, which the older cub's been suckling on, is the only mother here. She's off to our right. She's actually heading towards the den now. And there's her youngster actually coming to greet her, Alex, in front of us. So there we go. And you can see she's got very distinct ears. Here we go. Hi, Ma. It looks like he's more interested in playing. And with the amount of adults that are here at the moment, you can see it's far braver, coming further out than it normally does. Sorry guys, just in the way there a bit. So it's very interesting to have this many hyenas here. And you can see a bit of submission being shown. There's a very big female coming in here. Okay, you can see that that female is quite dominant. Just the way she's behaving. Oh, we're getting a visitor right next to the car. I'm gonna make sure he doesn't. They like to steal the little rubber caps off your tires. Hyena cubs, when they get a little bit braver. So it's really nice to actually have a look at how many animals are here. Okay, guys, Scott's got visual of Mvula again, so we're going to cross back to Scott. But we'll stay here with the hyenas, and if anything really interesting starts happening here, we'll cut back across.
Welcome back, and isn't this a great way to spend the morning between the hyena den site that sounds really active and this beautiful big male leopard. We've got off to a cracking start, and I'm really happy to hear that there are quite a few adults at the hyena den site, because that is going to help us solve the mystery as to who the adults are of the certain cubs. And it'll be great to chat with Brent after the drive to hear what he thinks, but for you guys, you get to hear what he thinks right now live, and I'm sure we will cut back to him shortly. And we're just going to probably take turns between the leopard and the hyena, because there is good action there with the hyena, and it will take us a few moments to keep looping ahead and getting good views of this leopard. So we will keep ping-ponging between the hyena and the leopard. So for now, probably back to Brent until we get ahead of the leopard again.
Hi guys, welcome back. We've got quite a lot of action going on around us. So that slightly older cub is definitely a lot braver with all the adults around. I mean, venturing quite far from the den. Alex, just head to front of us. No, don't worry, it's over. That looks like a male. So it's taking this opportunity to explore quite extensively around. Okay, so we've got 2 adults there, 3, 4, 5, actually 6 adults. I've missed an adult sleeping under a bush. You can see that the younger ones are also starting to become a bit braver. It'd be quite interesting to see whether one of these animals feeds those two, because even though we haven't seen them suckling, they are looking in very good condition. So it's not like they're not being fed, they're just obviously being fed at a time when we're not here. Looks like there's quite a bit of greeting going on behind us. You can see some tails up. I'm just going to try reposition the vehicle quickly. Oh no, I don't want to move little guy's on his way back through here, so we don't want to give him a fright by starting the car while he's still exploring. Hey little man, or little girl. It's like, ooh, that thing looks like fun. What? I wonder what I can bite on that. As you can see, he's pasting, using his anal gland to mark the grass. It's one of the most important forms of smell communication with hyenas. They'll use that method to mark their boundaries and territories. And so other hyenas coming into the area will also know that this is this clan's territory. There's a lot of movement going on around us at the moment, so I don't want to move the vehicle. And one of the adults is moving off into the bush behind us, just to let you know. I mean, all of them, even sort of smaller, possibly male in front of us here, have quite full bellies, so they must have eaten quite well last night. And the bigger hyenas have got fat tummies. You can see how that, even though that's a much bigger individual, it is showing submission towards the youngster. Okay, guys, we're going to cut across to Scott. We're going to cut across to Scott. He's got some interesting stuff happening on the other side, and we'll still be here with the hyenas when you get back. Enjoy it.
Welcome back, and as you can see, Mvula is making his way straight towards us, and we're in for another great view as he does move through this vegetation towards us. It's been quite thick, so difficult for us to loop ahead of him. But at the moment, he's coming straight towards us, so we're very fortunate in his movements this morning. He's also started tending more south than east, which allows us to stay with him. If we had have continued east at the speed he was heading in, he would have crossed out of our property. But because he has veered more to the south, we're allowed these great views of him. Okay. It's just got very thick, and it might be worth cutting back to Brent now while we get into position again, and then we will call Andrew in the final control as soon as we've got a better spot to view him from.
It's licking it. Let's come into these two quickly, Alex. Welcome back, guys. We're still here with the hyenas. So it looked like one of the dominant females, she urinated there, and now you can see definitely small individuals, not as dominant. Difficult to say whether male or female. They're now smelling, licking, and she came and peed on top of where one of these two peed. So it's very much a sign of dominance. Okay, guys, we're gonna quickly cut across to Scott, and then we'll be back here just now.
Right, sorry. Welcome back, folks, and we've just realised that we are crossing over onto our eastern boundary. So I'm just going to loop ahead of him one last time and give you one last visual of him on the move. And hopefully he will be walking towards us anytime soon. So sadly, it will be the end of the sighting, but what a sighting it's been. Well, now he's changed direction again ever so slightly and is heading north. Seems to be trotting, not sure why. You may know of some potential prey, or may have heard something up here. This is the view I think we've been hoping for now.
Great for yours.
I'm not sure what he's interested in here, but obviously you can see he's trotting ahead, and Brian's doing a great job staying with him through this thick bush. There is something ahead here that's intriguing him, and I'm not sure what it is. Be able to spend a few more moments with them. Well, sadly, folks, he's just gone too far.
Sorry, guys. Thanks, Ed.
Okay, well, what a sighting that was, and I hope you all enjoyed it. It's a pity we can't stay with them, but it is just the way it is out here. There are certain areas we can go, and there are certain areas where we can't go, and this is one of the areas, sadly, where we can't go. But so fortunate to have been able to get such great glimpses of him this morning, with the perfect sunlight on him on the move, and we'll leave Craig to it. It'll be interesting to hear where he ends up and if he has any luck this morning, and we'll be sure to find that out from Craig. But in the meantime, I think we can head back to Brent at the hyena den site. It sounds really exciting there, and we will head off to Buffelshoek Dam, myself and Brian, and see what's happening over there.
Oh, welcome back. You can see that anal gland come out there, and the pasting going on. That looks like quite a dominant animal that pasted. Now one of the others pasting. The amount of pasting that's going on at the moment, it could be that some of these animals haven't visited the den in quite a long time. Unfortunately, that little one is actually too close to us to actually see him. We can't see him. He's under our bonnet somewhere. So you can see the adult there, and the young one is actually between those adults and the front of the vehicle. Good morning, Shanae. Welcome on Drive with us this morning. Shanae is asking what age the youngsters will change colour. Normally between 3 and 4 months, but it can vary on individuals. But normally around 4 months they are showing quite distinct colour. What I'm going to do now, I brought my... bit of playing going on. I brought my mammal Bible with me this morning, just in case we did this, so I can actually show you what hyena dentition looks like, which is always quite interesting. Let me just find the hyenas quickly. Family carnivore hyena day 3:45. We'll keep looking at the hyenas while they're busy, and then we will have a look at the dentition a little later. But it is really amazing to see how many hyenas are here. This is definitely the most hyenas I've seen at this den since I've been here. Wow, just my mammal Bible, just having a quick look next to the picture of the skulls, and I just read here that it says there have been up to 80 hyena recorded at a single dead site in Tanzania. Obviously that's got a lot to do with the migration, so there's a lot of food and whatnot in the Serengeti and Mara systems. Running to mom. Now what's been shown there is quite interesting. It's possible that those two smaller animals we thought were males could be young females from a higher ranking female, just the way they're behaving with that little one. Oh, excuse me. I'm going to try to creep back to the thorn bush. Whoops, caught in the thorn bush. And those two are having, good games. Now, on opening the mouth there, they're probably almost adult, but not quite. They're still a little bit young. And just the way they're behaving, they must be high-ranking individuals. And two of the adults, including the mother, have moved off and are walking away from the den. And they've actually crossed the little drainage line near the den. So they are probably about 50 meters from us at the moment. So they could be just going to sleep nearby, or they could be heading a little bit further. Oh, another one of the little ones has come to join, the younger ones. See, even the tiny ones are getting braver. More brave. Oh, my English is leaving a little bit to be desired this morning. Buff. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, please. There we go, we've got a question. Good morning, Amanda from Alabama. Amanda is asking about that elephant cow we saw yesterday that had that very distinct wound that we saw, and what we've pretty much worked out that it's a prolapsed uterus. So basically, in the easiest terms, is that the uterus has sort of almost folded in on itself or gone inside out and is pushing to come out of the body, and this can be caused by difficult births or infections in the urinary canal or in the bladder. Good morning, Janet. Welcome on Drive. Janet would like to know, are adult male hyenas typically smaller than the females? Yes, Janet, they are. Sometimes up to sort of 30 kilograms smaller from a really extreme cases. And hyenas are the only truly matriarchal society that we see, where the female, there's no sort of doubt that the females are bigger, stronger, and by far the boss. I mean, even the lowest ranking female in a clan is higher ranking than the highest ranking male. Good morning. Good morning, Georgina from Illinois. Georgina is saying that the sub-adult is called Ndapandula. Georgina, I'm not actually sure on that. I've looked at the photos from when he was seen in December, and there's no indication that this is that it's the same animal. And as far as what my understanding from Scott and Mark is, that Ndapandula was a male, and these sub-adults in front of us, just from their behavior, are almost certainly female, and from a high-ranking individual. And the female, I mean, we've got four adult females here. I'm not sure which female you're talking about exactly. So there's one of the adult females. Alex is just going to pan across. There's a second adult, sorry, there's two adult females behind us, and then a third and fourth have actually crossed across the drainage line. So it's very difficult for me to know which exact hyena you were talking about. So let's go back to the interaction between the young adults and the cubs. They're still playing quite nicely. Good morning, Anne from Washington. Anne is asking what would happen if one of the bigger cubs killed one of the smaller cubs. I think it would be very unlikely that it would ever sort of get to that sort of level of play. As you can see, even though they are quite rough, they're still gentle with the youngsters. And you can see a fat belly on that hyena coming in there. Oh, a little bit of cackling coming from underground. My guy's very interested in everything that's going on. And they're the two younger ones just popping their heads out. I'll check now, sorry my game drive channel was turned on. Copy, thanks. And you can see as it heats up, the activity is dying down a little bit. Good morning, Georgie from Australia. Georgie would like to know if there are brown hyenas in the Sabi Sands, and do they have the same clan makeup as spotted hyenas? Georgie, it is possible that there are brown hyena in the Sabi Sands. They have been recorded in the past, but because of the high spotted hyena density, there are not going to be too many of them. They prefer drier areas with very little water, and that is an adaptation to be able to compete and sort of fill an ecological niche where the spotted hyenas can't be, because they are very dependent on water. And the clan makeup is a little bit different. They do have communal dens, but they are not as generally as social as the spotted hyenas. And also, what happened is that a lot of the mating was sort of observed to be done by nomadic males that move through the area. So the males, there's argument going on behind us. We can't move, otherwise we'll disturb whatever's going on, because they're literally just behind the vehicle. So unlike spotted hyenas, where the males are part of the clan, brown hyenas, it seems to be that the males are nomadic and move through, and then the females form clans. Lots of action. Oh, it looks like that was one of the hyenas that left earlier, and that's looks like the mother of this cub in front of us. Very distinct with those very torn ears. Okay, thanks. Jane is saying that Peter thought Ndapundula might be a female based on her behavior. And Peter's, sorry, what was the second name there? but she has a distinct 7. And then from Georgina says there's a 7 pattern on the right-hand side. Well, the one that we're on focus on now doesn't seem to have a 7 pattern on the right-hand side. And to turn there, there's another hyena coming out of the den, so that makes 10 so far this morning. And back down. Good morning, Jeannie from Washington. Jeannie said we've learned that a leopard will go up a tree when hyenas arrive. What will a lion do? It depends on the lion and how many lions. If there's a single lioness and a group of hyenas, that lioness will probably run away. But they will fight with hyenas, try to chase them off if the hyenas sort of attack them at a kill. And also it depends on the number of hyenas versus the number of lions. But there's a very simple rule with that. As soon as there's a male lion present, the hyenas sort of move away. They don't like fighting with male lions. Good morning, Sandra. Welcome on Drive with us this morning. The cubs, while they're at this age, will very seldom drink water. They will drink milk from their mothers, and that's where they get their sustenance. And hyenas, spotted hyena cubs will eat very little meat till about 6 or 7 months, and still up to that stage, the majority of their sustenance and nutrients will be from drinking mother's milk. It's only after they sort of become mobile and start moving out on foraging expeditions with the adults will they start drinking water. But hyenas could probably go 2 or 3 days, maybe even a bit longer if they need be without water. Also depending on what they've been eating, because they do get a lot of the moisture that they need if they have a fresh kill from the blood. Rebecca Zoe's Nisikaya is active. So there we can see, smelling pastes. There we go. Now let's have a careful look at this. Hyena's jumped up now. She turns around. We need to see the right side. Let's maybe check if that's Ndapandula. Morning, Lenny from Arizona. Lenny would like to know what is the ratio of males to females. I'm not 100% sure. That's a good thing I got the Mammal Bible with me today, and I'm going to double check. Good morning, One Wolf from FC. One Wolf would like to know whether all the hyenas would sit inside this den at the same time. Most definitely not. There would definitely not be enough space. There's probably very little space in there for the cubs plus possibly one adult at a time. Although there can be quite big chambers in that. If one hyena is lying in the entrance, it sort of blocks the whole entrance for the others. Good morning, Casey. Welcome on Game Drive with us this morning. Casey would like to know, why do hyenas' heads always seem to hang so low? Probably because they use their sense of smell quite frequently. So their heads will hang low to the ground so they can smell what's going on. So now while all the hyenas are flat, we're going to have a quick look at their dentition, which is very interesting in the mammal Bible. Here we go, guys. As you can see, they don't have any distinct molars, and their molars have all got sharp edges. So they don't have any grinding teeth, and these are actually the teeth that they'll use for crushing the bones. And the canines there for when they hunt, because they would use to sort of grip onto prey and sort of hang on and just sort of very similar to like a crocodile, just sort of grab and hang on to their prey. These over here, the incisors, have got much sharper edges, and they're cutting teeth, so if they want to open up a carcass. They have massive skulls. You see this big cranium here? That's to attach all those muscles that they use to crush the bone. So you'll notice in hyenas, they have a much higher extended cranium crest than lions or leopards. And that is to attach those very powerful muscles that are used for crushing the bones. And they're very, I mean, they can have huge heads for relative to their body size. I mean, the skull of a spotted hyena that's been cleaned and of all sort of muscle and meat or anything can weigh over 3 kilograms. So 3 kilograms, it's probably about 8-9 pounds, somewhere around there, and that's just the skull. Anyway, I don't think too much else is going to happen at the den this morning, guys, as it gets warmer and warmer. I think we're going to have a lot of flat hyenas, so we're going to move on and see what else we can find. But we've been quite lucky, lots of action, and the most adults I've ever seen. So hopefully we can go see what else we can find. Not sure what's out there yet, but we will try our best. It is getting nice and warm now. Yes, I'll wait for you. Good morning, Sharon from Memphis. Sharon would like to know why there are no jackals in this area. Well, probably this close to the hyena den would not be a good spot for them. There are jackals around. I haven't seen that many. The jackal species that we do see from time to time in the Sabi Sands, we get two species here. We get the black-backed jackal. Okay, well, before we leave, maybe we can just do that quickly. I'll show you the black-backed jackal, which is the more well-known one. Well, the black-backed jackal and the golden jackal, which are seen often around lion kills and leopard kills and things like that. And they tend to prefer sort of very big, or they prefer grasslands, where there is the side-striped jackal, which is another species we get here, which I actually heard calling the other morning before we went out and drive, is far more of an omnivore and is actually recorded feeding on fruits and grasshoppers and things like that far more than it does feed on meat. 401. Good thing we brought the mammal Bible with us today. Let me just find where the plate is. That's the cuts. There we go. Here we go. So there's the black-backed jackal and the side-striped jackal. So both do occur here, but I've only heard side stripe in the morning, and that's one that's more omnivorous, less reliant on meat. Okay, hyenas, thank you very much. It's been a pleasant morning. Now they've decided to lie all around us, so we might have to dodge the hyena to get out of the den. You can see she's moved and lying in the middle of the entrance road. For those people who are asking what is the name of the book, it's called Smithers, Mammals of the Southern African Sub-Region. Unfortunately, it is not actually available anymore. It was released by the University of Pretoria. So it's a very, very sort of in-depth book where you can go into dentition, diet, social structure, far more than your normal mammal books. And they haven't been published for a while. So if you do manage to find one online or in a second-hand bookshop, I would really recommend getting it. They are very rare and very hard to get hold of. This was actually I got as a present from my grandparents when I was about 8 years old. I think they had an idea what I might do later on in life. And the thing is, it is specific to from Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and southern Mozambique. It is very specific to the animals of this sub-region, and I mean, it goes from the tiniest mouse, bats, so very, very in-depth. It doesn't just focus on your larger mammals. Also, dentition, fecal samples, and it gets. It's a really, really great book if you do manage to find it. It's my bedtime reading. Okay, copy, thanks. I know we see them often, but they are such pretty birds, and he's calling nicely for us, and we're not going to be able to enjoy them for too much longer before they head back up to Central Africa. So I'm not even going to tell you what it is. I'm going to get you to tell me what it is. So what bird do we have sitting on top of this dead knobthorn? Please send your answers via email to questions@wildearth.tv, or on Twitter, just use the hashtag #SafariLive. Oh, no, he's not calling for us. There we go. Oh, and he's off. So, I'm waiting for your answers, guys. But in the meantime, I'm going to tell you quite an interesting story about that family of kingfishers. It's the start of their Latin name is Halison, and that is named after a sort of, if I remember correctly, an old Latin word referring to the sea when the Mediterranean is so flat it looks like a lake. Halison days, I think, is a description used in English quite often. Oh, not often, but it is a description used in English. And they get that because a relative of theirs that lives in Europe, I'm not sure which one, would get confused by the sea being so calm and like a lake, and they would start flying across it like it was a lake. And fishermen and people on boats used to find these kingfishers either dead in the water, or they'd land completely fatigued on the boats, and so that's where that family got its got the beginning of its Latin name from the Mediterranean being halcyon, flat, and looking like a lake. Andrew, do you have any answers yet? Well done, Kathy and Charlotte. Diane, Jennifer, Valerie, Charlene, all got it correct. It is a woodlands kingfisher. Oh, challenge, guys. You say that's too easy. So next bird we're going to try ID is going to be an LBJ. And for those of you who don't know what an LBJ is, a little brown job. Very brown, small, and... Okay. Well, while Alex and I go see if we can find something else, we're going to cross back to Scott for a while and see what he's got. Enjoy. And I'm going to have to think of some harder questions for you guys.
Welcome back, and we've got a herd of Inyala crossing the road in front of us. We're not sure how many there are, but we actually saw them down on a riverbed, a little bit elevated where we were on the road, and then one popped up in front of us crossing the road, so we knew the rest would be following behind. And it was such beautiful animals to view that any opportunity we can to show them to you, we will. It's certainly one of my favorites. Certainly the most Bambi-like of the antelope we get in this area. The vertical white stripes and little white spots on their rump. Not very pretty. Are there any more that still need to cross ahead of us? We'll give it a moment or two, but what a morning it's been, and so happy that the hyena den site's been active in a way that I've yet to see it, and I don't think Brent's also seen it that active, so I really look forward to sitting down with Brent after this morning's drive and chatting with him about that and watching some of the highlights. And then also to see Mvula, the dominant male of this area, was a real bonus, and the way we found him this morning was just so exciting for Brian and myself. I did mention it briefly as we found him, but I'll reiterate now because I didn't have much time to explain then. We were driving along one of the roads and there was nothing much to see, and then all of a sudden I got the smell of buttered popcorn, which is unique for the leopard scent mark. It's an incredibly bizarre fragrance to smell, and who would have thought that a leopard scent mark would smell like buttered popcorn? I certainly didn't. And anyway, I reversed so that Brian could also get that smell a few meters, and he smelt it, and then we carried on. Probably not even 15 or 20 meters, there was a little bit of a squiggle in the road, and then Brian spotted him right there in front of us. So that was a real bonus and something that doesn't happen every day out here. Well, it looks like the Inyala have all crossed the road, so we'll continue. If you could ask Brent what his plans are. Okay, I'm gonna head towards Twin Dams. I'm on Vulture's Nest, Inyala Road, south now, heading south from Central Road. That was quite funny. Brent and I both asked Andrew to find out what one another's plans were. So I've let Brent know mine. It'll be interesting to hear what his are. Copy that. Perfect. Copy, that sounds like a great plan. So what could happen next after such an action-packed first half of the drive? Time will tell. There haven't been too many vehicles exploring the areas that myself and Brent are going towards now. I'm going towards Twin Dams, so the southern and central parts of Djuma, and Brent's going to Treehouse Dam, which is also southern but a little bit more to the west of this property. But the good news is there haven't been too many vehicles driving this area yet this morning, therefore we can assume that there's some unknown possibilities in that area, or in these areas that we're going to, so look forward to investigating the tracks on the road and any signs we do get of what may have moved through this area last night. Oh, well spotted, Brian. A really pretty bird.
Yeah, station. Thank you for that thing this morning.
And that is the lilac-breasted roller. Certainly one of the most pretty birds we get out here. And in crisp morning sunlight, like we're seeing it in now, you don't get much better, really. Well done, Brian, for spotting that. Now, they often perch themselves on these dead trees so that they've got an unobstructed and clear view down to the ground where they'll be scanning for insects, which they will feed on, and they'll fly down and catch their prey, mainly on the ground, but sometimes on the wing in the air. So let's give it a moment or two and see if we can't see this beautiful bird bomb down and catch something. It's the best when birds catch prey that's a little bit actually too big for them, because then you have to see them struggling to initially dispatch the prey, and once they've managed to do that, then they have to somehow swallow it. Oh, a little yawn there. And if you're asking me, I think it's getting ready for action. Seems to be patience is your best friend out here in the African wilderness. If you don't have it, you'll get frustrated very quickly. You do have to invest time in animals if you hope to see them doing interesting things. And by investing time here, we're not only increasing our opportunity of seeing this lilac-breasted roller doing something interesting, but we're also just enjoying the sounds around us, listening to any potential alarm calls that may ring out, Whereas if you're driving permanently, you lose out on so much of the beauty of this area, and by being stopped and stationary and actually just looking around and enjoying the surroundings is often what leads to greater things. It's a bit of an unfair scenario though, because I can sit here and relax and just look at the monitor, whereas Brian is sitting poised almost like a predator in ambush, because he has to be ready now to swivel the camera if the bird flies. So thank you, Brian, and I'm hoping that this lilac-breasted roller doesn't keep you waiting too much longer. You also notice old Brian has zoomed out a little bit so that if it does fly, he's ready to follow it down to the ground while it catches its prey, whereas if he was very tight and zoomed in on it, it would be a lot more tricky to follow the bird as it flew. So he's ready for action. We just need to get this lilac-breasted roller to sort out one or two of its pre-flight checks, and then find an insect for us.
Start and end your day on safari.
I hate these flies, so.
Oh, well done, Brian. And I'm not sure if it actually caught something, but very well done to Brian there. I'm just going to creep forward to see if we can find out if it did actually catch something. And that was beautiful seeing it float down like that, and we were paid off for waiting. And again, well done to Brian for being ready there. I actually had drifted off and wasn't watching too closely, and only saw it as it was halfway down its descent. Where did it land?
I did.
Got it? Okay, well, if it did catch something, it appears to have gobbled it up already. And we'll leave it now to continue its hunting. And again, well done to Brian for capturing it float down there towards whatever it was interested in catching. And we shall now continue. Georgie in Australia, good morning and welcome along with us. Georgia is asking whether the female lilac-breasted rollers have a similar coloration to the males, and yes they do. It's very difficult to distinguish them, and that goes with not only the lilac-breasted rollers but a lot of the other rollers as well. So what I'll do is I'll get my book out in order to show you. So, unlike most birds, there's no sexual dimorphism between the rollers, and all of the beautiful different types of rollers you can see here, from the European at the top, which are still around here, and we'll still be able to show you some of those before they migrate back towards Europe. The lilac-breasted roller we also get here, which is what we've just been looking at. The racket-tailed in the middle is a really beautiful roller that is exceptionally rare and only found in the northern parts of the Kruger National Park. I've only seen them a handful of times in an area called Pefuri, an incredibly beautiful area in the north of Kruger. And the bottom two rollers, the purple and the broad-billed, we may see here, but the purple rollers we do get here for certain. The broad-billed, again, northern Kruger, not really here. But you'll notice no sexual dimorphism on the pages. Whereas if I flip over to the next page, I suppose the kingfishers are the same. But a lot of the birds, like the woodpeckers, will have slight differences between male and female, and they'll often show you both the male and female pictures, so you can differentiate between the two. Okay, sorry Brian, I just ambushed you there.
Treehouse. Damn. Welcome back, guys. We're gonna go check down towards Treehouse Dam. There was some elephant tracks, and so we're gonna try to see if we can find some elephants. They looked like the tracks were heading down towards the dam, and this is always a good area for leopard as well. So we're just slowly meandering. Oh, here we go. Nice group of impala boys. And what I think, as calm as they look now, they're going to start the rutting season towards the end of this month. April, May, rutting season, start chasing each other, making lots of noise, and start trying to sequester little groups of females off for themselves. But at the moment they're quite happy to stay in these bachelor groups. More eyes, less chance of being eaten by predators. So if you focus in on his back ankle there, please, Alex. Right down, actually maybe let's just wait to see if we can find. So I don't know if you can see right just above the hooves, whoops. There's those tiny, oh there's not tiny, those black sort of, how to describe them, fat ankles, for lack of a better description. Those are actually glands, and they release a, pheromone's probably the wrong word, but they release a substance into the air when an impala is chased, and they kick off, and that's what releases when they sort of jump and kick, and you've seen those big kicks from impala. They're called metatarsal glands. And what that releases a substance into the air. There's two different theories of what it's for. The one is that it's to confuse predators, but I don't think that's true personally. I think that's a very big push. The more reasonable explanation is that after the herd has been split by a predator, it helps them to relocate each other and go back into a group. Because when you are in a herd, the more of you are, the less chance you're going to be the one that gets eaten. Oh, he's having a little scratch. Itchy. Oh, that looks quite nice. Impala is such incredibly adaptable species. They're a browser and grazer, so they can take advantage of that enables them to take advantage of both sort of areas of food. So they can take advantage of the browse when there's more browse, and
Start and end your day on safari.
who knows, so we're just going to have a quick check. Just saw a little bit of movement through the bush here. More than likely a duiker or a steenbok, but it's always worth having a look. I guess it would have been about here. No, I can't see anything. Oh, we're just going to freewheel down the hill. Nice and quiet, gives us an opportunity to hear what's around. It's going to be amazing one day when they make an electric vehicle that's going to be nearly as quiet as this. All you hear is the tires on the dirt. There might be some movement left, but the majority of them would have sort of rested for a while now. There, you guys wanted a bit more difficult questions. Maybe I'm going to be shouted at again for asking you guys something too easy. But the word crepuscular. Who can tell me what the word crepuscular means? And I'll give you a good example of two species that are crepuscular. African wild dog and cheetah are crepuscular species. Please send your answers through to via email questions@wildearth.tv, or just use the hashtag SafariLive on Twitter. Crepuscular. I love that word. Just sort of sounds nice as it rolls off the tongue. Crepuscular. Oh, we're at Treehouse Dam now. No sign of anything. I think we'll keep on checking. Down towards Weaver's Nest. Good morning, C-Roll. C-Roll would like to know the difference between browse and graze. C-Roll, browse, browsing species, kudu, nyala, bushbuck, they eat trees and bushes, so they eat leaves, whereas grazers eat grass. So impala are, as we're talking about, quite unique, that they are both browsers and grazers, which is not that common in the antelope species. So while we continue to look for those elephants whose tracks we saw earlier, we're going to cross across to Scott for a bit to see what he's got.
giraffe here, so we're going to head around to that. Welcome back, and we were, oh Brian, on the right, quickly. Beautiful, well done, good response time there by Brian. Look at how beautiful this is. An incredibly beautiful eagle. And I'm going to ask the viewers to tell us whether it's a male or a female. And you can also give me the species, but the species is quite easy for those of you who have been following the giraffes for a while. It's a very distinctive bird of prey, this. A bright red beak, bright red legs. And you can also determine the sex of it, especially easily when they are flying, as it is now. And it may come back into camera shot for Brian. And this has certainly been the best footage of this incredibly wonderful raptor. But I think it may be gone. And funnily enough, just a few minutes ago, oh, here it's coming back. Just a few minutes ago, we tried to also film one to show you, but as we started filming it, it just flew off miles away in the other direction, and therefore couldn't follow it. It just went too far away. So we missed the first one. Then we saw some go-away birds having a bath at the dam, which also flew off as you came across to us. And at that point in time, I noticed the bateleur that we are now looking at. So, wonderful views, and again, good work to Brian on camera. Now, there's also another interesting animal that we haven't seen for a long time, and so happy that we've managed to find one. It's in there somewhere. And stand by for a beautiful big male giraffe. Now, we had tracks of a giraffe in this area yesterday, and I was just telling Brian that I hope we get lucky today, because we also had some zebra tracks coming down to the dam now. And zebra and giraffe are two animals that we haven't seen for close on a week now, I think. And as I was complaining that we've been led down to this dam in the hope of finding giraffe and zebra, we spotted this giraffe, just a few minutes ago. Now, we're quite far away from him, so what we're going to do is we're going to just drive around onto the other side of the dam and get a bit closer. And also hope to see, these are the go-away birds that were having a bath, that we just missed them bathing, but now we can see them sunning themselves, drying out after their bath here at Twin Dams. So all kinds of action keeping us busy here.
Let's go see that giraffe.
Okay. Cool. I think that's a great plan. Actually, Brian, would you mind showing this? Okay, RC, well done. You've pointed out that the other eagle that we saw earlier was a male, and then now you'll be able to notice the difference between a male and a female. So well done RC, well done Shanae. The male you would have noticed was the bird we saw earlier, had kind of half black, half white under the wings, whereas now we can see the female, she's predominantly white with a very thin trailing edge of black. And the way I like to remember the difference between the male and female bateleur is you could imagine a male dressed up in a suit, half black, half white.
Just too high.
On its wedding day. It's right above us now, so Brian can't tilt the camera enough, but it may float out into a better view. And the female bateleur is all white, like a lady in a white wedding dress. So the male half black, half white, as if he was in a suit, and the female almost all white under a lady in a wedding dress. So two of certainly the best views I've managed to share with you since I've been here, and it's quite fitting that it was both of the male and the female. So for those of you who didn't know how to differentiate, or even didn't know what a bateleur was, you now know that that beautiful bird is called a bateleur, and you can differentiate the males and the females when in flight. You can also tell when they're sitting.
Start and end your day on safari.
From right to left, had a drink at the ground, but may still hopefully be in a few small open clearings here. No immediate sign of them. But that's not a train smash, because we can continue on and view this beautiful big male giraffe. Oh, look who it is. That's a strange beast right there. They don't know we're here either. This is quite funny. I think we should. Well, that's Brent and Alex going past us. Brent and Alex, you guys having fun there? Okay, copy. We just saw you drive fast. We're on that fire break. Copy, enjoy the Mvula. This really is a magnificent specimen. And I'm just gonna, I think reversing is gonna be our best option for now. Try to get a little gap. I wonder if this was the same individual whose tracks we had here yesterday. Could well be. Not going to be perfect, this view, but far from perfect. But we'll just wait for him to move out into an opening, which I'm sure he will. A little oxpecker on the top of that old horn-like structure known as an ossicone. And you'll notice that the top of this individual's ossicones are bald. Well, that's indicative of a male. They're also considerably thicker than the ossicones on female giraffe. And the female's giraffe have hair, little tufts of hair growing off the top of those old vestigial horns. This oxpecker's got a restaurant with a view at the moment. Imagine being all the way up there, snacking away. It's interesting that he's not really doing anything at the moment. Usually if they're not feeding, they would be ruminating or chewing the cud. Yet he seems to be doing neither of the above. I'm wondering how we're going to get into a position where we can show you a slightly better view of him. I think we might just need to be patient. Go ahead. Ah, very nice. Well done, good luck. Okay, well the good news is he has decided to move, which means we might now be able to get a better view of him. Quite thick though. Stay on the road here and see if we can't find a decent gap. Oh, really? This might be a chap. Ah! That's better. Look at those two oxpeckers perched on his head, one on the left-hand ossicone and one between. His dark brown patches on his coat are fairly dark, and I'm sure will continue to get darker as he gets older. It's a combination of age and genetics, the darkness of giraffe, but the males sometimes do go almost a dark charcoal black on those darker patches, and they really look incredible when they get to that stage, or if they get to that stage. And just to go back to the Bataleur sighting, that beautiful eagle we saw earlier, I'm sure a lot of you, a lot more than RC and Sinead, also got the correct gender of the first Bataleur that we saw, but it's a tricky job for Andrew to file through all the answers in the final control room. So if you also did get the answer right, you know you did, and well done. And I'm just also so happy that we got to show you the difference between both the males and the females.
Start and end your day on safari.
Popular now in South Africa to live in a gated community, but within the gates are wild animals that live on miniature reserves, and not always necessarily predators, but a lot of herbivores will live on these small wildlife estates. And I think the lady was taking her dogs for a walk, and the dogs started causing trouble with the giraffe, and the giraffe was trying to kick the dog that was yapping at its heels, and the owner of the dog tried to go and get in the way of both of them to get the dog away from the giraffe, and it caught a stray hoof. The person caught a stray hoof from the giraffe, and that was the end of that. You do not want to be kicked by an animal of that size, because it could be fatal. So, Elaine, other than that bizarre, tragic and kind of freak occurrence of a giraffe killing somebody, I'm not sure if there have been any other documented cases. Another point where they could be dangerous though is if lions are hunting them. I've heard of a giraffe falling into a vehicle before and killing a few of the guests, but again it's a freak occurrence, and the chances of lions chasing a giraffe into your vehicle when on safari are very, very slim. So other than those two bizarre stories I've just told you, you've got nothing to worry about with giraffe, and they're very placid animals that go about their business with very little violence ever. Just going to reposition again quickly because Brian's running out of Brent's found some female leopard tracks in the Mvula riverbed heading from our southern boundary into Djuma. So he's following up on that just to keep you updated on his movements. So good prospects there. I look forward to hearing what happens next with that.
Start and end your day on safari.
Get in his way. I'm hoping he may consider going to drink at the dam where we were positioned earlier. He's not far from it. I just want to position myself out of his direct. Okay, here he's chewing the cud. So now watch closely. He is going to swallow the mouthful that he's currently chewing on, and I'll let you know when he does. And then once he has swallowed, watch very closely, because you'll then see the next bolus of cud coming up his trachea, up his throat, and his head will almost jolt as that bolus gets to his mouth, and then he'll continue chewing on a fresh bolus. So it looks like he's about to finish this one. Keep watching. Okay, he's just swallowed. No. About to swallow. He's swallowing little bits at a time. Okay, now watch very closely on his throat and you'll see the next bolus of cud coming up. There it goes. Dunk into his mouth, and now he continues chewing or ruminating, so chewing the cud. And it's one of my favorite things to watch out here. It's not easy with the angle that we're at. Let me try and reposition ever so slightly and try and get a side-on angle, and we'll be able to see that bolus of cud traveling up his throat a little bit easier. I think we're going to have a good gap from the side profile, which is what we want from. Okay, go ahead. Okay, now watch closely. It seems like it's going to swallow this next mouthful fairly shortly.
Welcome back, guys. What Alex is doing now is we're actually in the Mvula drainage line, and we found tracks of a female leopard, and these guys are heading straight out. So we're still following them in the left-hand track of the road, or of the track through the drainage line. So we've still got the tracks. Tracks went across here. Watch there. Just gonna stop here and check the tracks quickly. Okay, so we've still got tracks. They're still going straight up the drainage line, which is good. Especially if they're from early this morning, it's going to be getting hot. So hopefully she's going to be thinking about stopping quite soon. Let me know when the signal gets better. I'm not sure it is going to, because we are going to be, these tracks are heading straight up the drainage line. Copy, thanks. Could you also just give me a reminder on the names for the vascular question? Dave, Michelle, Karen, Georgie. I know I'm forgetting some here. Andrew. Diane. Connie, Deborah, Valerie. You guys all got it right. Crepuscular means animals that are active at dusk and dawn.
Start and end your day.
Welcome back, and sorry about the signal issues we had. Not sure what that caused that, and sadly the giraffe did move off away from the water and out of the Djuma property, so we couldn't stay with them. We would have stayed with them longer if we could, but the situation didn't allow for it. Now Brent is off the vehicle following up on these female leopard tracks, as you're well aware, and we are also in an area parallel to the riverbed. So he's in the riverbed to our right, so I'm not sure exactly where in the riverbed he is, but he could be somewhere quite close to us here, I'm guessing. And by us being driving on this road, we're going to make sure that if she does cross out of the riverbed, we can find her tracks here and just help one another in trying to track her down. As Brent's mentioned, it could well be Karula, but we will only know when we find her for certain. And as soon as Brent does get back onto the vehicle, I'll be able to get a better idea of where he's had the last tracks and take it from there. So Andrew, as soon as Brent gets in the vehicle, please just let him know on the radio that I am looking for him. So according to Andrew, he is still off the vehicle doing his thing. Go ahead, sir. Okay, copy, perfect. I've just gone north of where you are, past that junction on Twin Dams, and there's no sign of it coming out, so I've been checking carefully here, and I'll just continue north slowly, see if anything pops out. Okay, so an update from Brent is that the tracks were continuing through the riverbed, but then got to a point where a herd of elephants had been digging around and there was a lot of elephant footprints in the way, making it difficult for him to establish where she had gone or what she had done. But he wasn't far south of us, so behind where we've just come from, and he's going to continue to snoop around in that area and see if he can find out where exactly she has headed. But myself and Brian will continue slowly along this road, checking for any tracks. She could well pop out onto this road, judging by her general movements that she's been, or the general direction she's been moving in. And that is the beauty of tracking in teams, is it allows one person to go a little bit more slowly, you could say, trying to follow each individual track, and that's what Brent's doing, and we can then loop ahead depending on what he suggests or where the general movement of direction is that she's heading, and try and leapfrog in order to find her. Excuse me. Really has heated up today, and that's probably because we don't have much of a breeze. The last couple of days and weeks have been quite windy, which has been keeping us cool. But today is nice and still, and therefore considerably warmer than the weather we have been experiencing. Well, no sign of her coming out yet, and even though we're quite far now from where Brent did have the last tracks, they do move huge distances, and it is worth us doing a very large leapfrog towards Gowrie Dam or Vuyatela Dam, which is where she would end up if she did follow this riverbed the entire way. Not that necessarily that she's done that, but if she had have, we should technically find her lying on the Vuyatela Dam wall. The chance of that happening is slim, but there's a chance nevertheless, and that's the attitude we're looking for, Brian. So that is the plan for now. And on a hot day like this, as things are drying out, we might not only find her at Vuyatela Dam, but a host of other animals. So something that's really great about this time of the year, and as we go deeper into winter, it does become drier and more harsh, which means animals rely more and more on the water sources that are available. Go ahead, Brent. Copy, sounds good. I'm almost at Vuyatela Dam. I've been checking Twin Dams Road very carefully, and I'm almost positive that she has not popped out onto this side of the road. Okay, so an update from Brent. He can't find any tracks coming further north towards us. So, and the fact that we didn't find any tracks popping out to the west, which is the road we're on, west of the drainage, which is just down to our right, means that she could well have lay up somewhere nearby and simply Brent couldn't see her there, or she popped out to the east of the drainage, to the right hand side of the drainage. So a number of different options or variables that could have happened. And he's going to continue snooping around there. And the great thing about tracking animals is obviously there's a chance of finding them, a slim chance, but there's a chance nonetheless. But by following their movements, you've got a much better idea of where they could be. This afternoon, for example, because Brent's investing a lot of time this morning trying to find exactly where she could be, that means this afternoon when we come out, we at least have a relatively good idea of where we could search and where we could get lucky. Whereas if you were to overlook these leopard tracks and have the attitude of, well, we've seen a leopard already today, so let's not bother about trying to see another one, you lose that vital information, and therefore when you are looking for a leopard, you've lost track of them so much so that it becomes really difficult to even begin knowing where to look for them. So the more you kind of constantly monitor their movements, the more likely you are to be able to see them. The usual suspects here at Vuyatela Dam, and I'll stop in just a second. We've got two buffalo on an island retreat. An African fish eagle just took off out of the tree, and that's when Brian and I both went, oh, because we both would have hoped to show it to you, but we saw it too late and it's flown out of view now. But there's a pair of buffalo bulls who've decided to spend their day out on Vuyatela tropical island paradise, and there's one on the mainland. But this island only has space for two. It's a very exclusive getaway. And only a space for 2 buffalo, and don't they look extremely content and comfortable there. Oh, how did I not even notice? There's 2 impala drinking at the edge of the water here. Brian will hopefully be able to get you a glimpse of the last individual having his last little sips. Beautiful. Well, we certainly have had an absolutely amazing morning in terms of viewing. We've just seen so much interesting action going on, and a lot of the time we've been spoilt with great shots, perfect sunlight, just like this one. And so many of the sightings we have would vary greatly if we were just a minute or 2 off, and that goes for the leopard this morning, the hyena, these impala drinking. It's merely minutes that can make a difference between seeing great sightings and not seeing them. And this morning we just seem to be...
Start and end your day on safari.
That's a good idea, sir. From here I'm going to take Mvula and then onto that 2-track that runs behind Gallagher. Oh, little stretch. A very distinctive split in his left ear. I think this could potentially be the same individual that Alex Voss, who's on camera with Brent today, suggested we should call the judge. I might be wrong, but a few drives ago this guy was giving us a serious death stare, and there was a buffalo here at Djuma a few years ago on a previous production when Alex was here that they had named the judge. Well, Brent's just decided to pop out onto the eastern road that runs along the Mvula drainage where he had these female leopard tracks, which does make the most sense. A lot of you may be wondering what on earth made that noise. It wasn't Brian and it wasn't me, it was the hippopotamus. It's such a cool noise. That was me that just did the recent one. Not nearly as impressive as the real deal over there. And who knows, there's 2 of them there. You can see another one's nostrils poking out in front. And maybe we'll get lucky and hear that audio again. Sadly, hippos are not the easiest animals, the most exciting animals to view when they're in the water, because they resemble a rock or a log, really. And being nocturnal, we don't get to spend too much time with them when they do head out in the evenings to start looking for, on average, about 40 kilograms, 80 pounds of grass they require every evening. And Brian and I both just spotted these impala who appear to be possibly coming down for another drink. It'd be interesting to see what they do end up doing, but they are tending closer to the water's edge.
Start and end your day.
Go ahead, Craig.
Scott, you come out of the Congo.
Last tracks Brent had were just south of Vulture's Nest and the Mulwati. He's taken Vulture's Nest to follow up there. I've done Twin Dams the whole way up, looking carefully all the way up to Vuatela Dam. No sign of it coming out to the west.
Start and end your day on safari.
And Georgina's wondering when Mark will be back and when I will go on leave. So Mark will be back on Thursday, I believe. I think to report for duty on Friday. So I think Mark will be out on Friday. I stand to be corrected by a day or two, but I'm fairly certain he'll be back on Thursday, out on drive on Friday. And then I'm heading out on Sunday at this stage, but it could potentially be on Saturday that I head out. It's not confirmed yet, but either Saturday or Sunday I will leave and then be gone for just about a week until I'm back again. But haven't completely fine-tuned, or finalized rather, the plans. That'll just give you a rough idea, Georgie. And we're looking forward to having Mark back here. I'm sure he's having a great time on leave though. And as wonderful as it is being out here, we all love our job and get along well as a team, but it's great to go and see other friends in the real world and be able to stop in at a grocery store and buy a chocolate if that's what you want to do, or just some of the smaller things that you take for granted living in a city that you don't have access to out here. Come on, boys. Show us what you made of here. Do you think they said, well, if we're going to fight, should we go and do it in the shade? It would be cooler there.
Start.
Don't look at us, we don't want to fight, we come in peace. Copy. Impala's chosen quite a steep embankment, the dam wall, to traverse down, but I'm sure he'll have no problem doing that. And here goes his friend. wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Impalas.
Very nice.
Well, there's not much time left, so from myself and Brian, we're gonna be saying goodbye, and we've got a very, very interesting pair of animals we're about to stumble upon here. Uh-oh, here's trouble. This only means trouble. And look who it is, it's Brent and Alex. And we'll have a quick chat with them and then hand over to them so that they can say goodbye. Brent, any luck with the tracks coming out there?
No luck. She could have been just hiding, and I could have been 3 meters from me while I was stomping around in the drainage line. But there's no tracks coming out in Vulture's Nest, and you checked Twin Dams. So hopefully she's still in that area. I went and checked that pan at Spaghetti Junction as well.
Okay.
No luck there, all we found was a die-cat.
Okay.
So hopefully she's still around in the morning. Tracks coming out in Vulture's Nest, and you checked Twin Dams. So hopefully she's still in that area. I went and checked that pan at Spaghetti Junction as well.
Okay.
No luck there, all we found was a die-cat.
Okay.
So hopefully she's still around in the afternoon.
Yeah, and that's what I said to the viewers, is that now that you do have such a good idea of where you had the last tracks this afternoon, we've got a good chance of heading out and hunting it down.
Those elephants again, just making our life difficult, destroying all the tracks. Oh, but anyway, that's what makes it interesting.
Exactly. Cool, well, we're going to carry on and do this loop around the back, and then we will
see you back at FC.
Yeah, see you back at FC. Cool. Well,
okay.
To all of you that followed and all the viewers, a big thank you from myself and Brian, and thanks to Andrew in the final control. We'll see you later this afternoon.
Okay guys, for the last few minutes what we're going to do is we're going to head out to quarantine. Maybe we'll find some zebra, wildebeest for the last few minutes. And I'm sure, seeing the buffalo there, I'm sure Scott's already showed those to you. So we'll just sneak on past them. Oh. Got a bird of prey flying up to the left. I'm just going to see if we can see it now. Aha. Let's see if so give Alex a second to focus in on it. So it's a brown snake eagle. See that very yellow face as he turned there? It's one of the diagnostic identifying features when they're flying. Also their general size and shape. They are quite a big eagle, but they're not a true eagle. If he flies right over us, we might even see his feet. There we go. Joe, he's making life very difficult for Alex. But so unlike true eagles, oh, he's disappeared again. Oh, he's gone over our heads. You can see that. Sorry, Alex is not going to be able to follow him. He's gone behind us. But as he flew over, I don't know if you guys saw that barring. He's back again. And the tail, whatnot, is another good way to identify him for us without having to pick up binoculars. But barring in the tail, light underwing, yellow on the face, yellow legs, also without feathers on the legs, which immediately removes them from the true eagles like your Warburgs, Steppe, lesser spotted, tawny, that have all got feathered legs. Oh, they do look comfortable, those buffalo. We've got a few other birds around. I can hear them. I'm just trying to find them now. Very distinct call. Where are you hiding? Oh, it's a nice little bird. I just want to see if he sits still for long enough that we can put a camera on him. I can hear. Let's go forward a little bit. Where is he sitting? I can hear them calling around here. Oh. No, they've taken off, unfortunately. I can still hear them. This is really frustrating. I just can't see them. Oh, well, there we go. There's that. Oh, no, now he's going to fly. Murphy's Law. Okay, oh, I can see them flying. Ah, there we go. Okay. Alex, if you go to that tallest tree at the back on the right-hand side, that's the one. You can see there's actually a big nest in there, and that's a red-billed buffalo weaver. So they construct these huge communal nests out of thorns. That's the bird I could hear calling, and I just couldn't see where he was. Yeah, there's quite a few of them around. Also, yeah, the cat turtle dove. Oh, crested barbet calling there. It's a really pretty call. Oh, there's a wildebeest. We're just going to try. There we go, get him through the gap. You got him there, Alex? If you guys, can you see him or must I go forward? So guys, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It's been a great morning, and Scott got Mvula early on, which is always wonderful. And then Alex and I had an absolutely fantastic sighting at the hyena den. At the end, I think there were 7 adults, or adults and young adults, and then 3 cubs and 1 sub-adult. So, that's the most hyena we've ever seen at the den. But other than that, thanks everyone for joining us this morning. It was a real pleasure. Thanks for your questions. And for those of you who thought that my questions were too easy, we'll definitely think of some harder ones for this afternoon. And hopefully we can go back and try follow up on those leopard tracks again. But from everyone here, myself and Alex, and I'm sure Scott and Brian, and a thank you to Andrew and FC, goodbye and have a good morning, evening, or wherever you are in the world.